the space with my full authentic Blackness and not be forced into emotional submission like I just had to watch my sister Garcelle be forced into on Beverly Hills. I hope people are paying attention to what happened there, because that is a cautionary tale as to what happens when you refuse to give space to this woman's full identity and experience. And she's earned it.
Yeah.
And she's earned it.
Have you spoken to Garcelle since this aired?
I have.
I'm glad you guys spoke.
Mm-hmm.
Anything in particular you spoke about?
Many things, but it's a sacred sisterhood. And I hope you can appreciate that. It's a real special sorority within a sorority that all of us have collectively and kind of one-on-one relationships with one another by way of Garcelle, Tiffany, Crystal, and myself. And I'm just blessed to be a part of it, and blessed to have women that are having their own unique experiences integrating, these shows. And it can be a painful experience, as we saw the other night with Garcelle. And it could also be a really, really beautiful one. Like, I loved the episode where she was able to share, Haiti with her castmates, and how prolific. And see, for audience members, this is, really important here. For audience members that say, I don't watch this show to be educated or schooled or preached to, or whatever gaslight term you want to use, because that's all that is. Here's why it's important what Garcelle is doing and what I have done and what Crystal and Tiffany are doing by way of dumpling sessions. When you share your culture, right, the beauty of your culture, whether it's what Wendy Osefa is doing on Potomac, when she had that beautiful baby naming ceremony, I believe, for her daughter, Cameron, which celebrates the beauty of the Nigerian people. When we do that, y'all, it's not us standing on a soapbox. What we are doing is the benevolent work of humanizing our people. And if you want to know why that's necessary in 2021, look at what's going on with the Haitian migrants right now, who are stuck on an American border, seeking legal asylum the best way they know how, okay? And look at the treatment of these people. The treatment is due to a lack of humanizing of a fellow human being. And that goes back to what seems simple, like it's just Housewives. Yeah, it is Housewives. And it's a powerful, potent platform that can change the lives of everyday people.
I agree. 2 final questions before we wrap up. Well, when we first spoke, like you mentioned, the first thing we talked about is you said your goal was, and you mentioned here again today, is to be 100% authentically yourself. Mm-hmm. Good, bad, indifferent, however it plays out. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know the answer, but I have to ask, do you feel you've accomplished that goal?
I'll answer the question, but I want to know what you think. I think we've had a couple conversations now. What you see is what you get when we're talking. So when you compare that to what you saw on air all season long, how does it reconcile to you?
I mean, I really truly feel you are 100% authentically yourself. And I do not say that about plenty of people that I speak to, housewives or not. I mean, I keep that to myself usually, but I feel that I can tell, and I feel like you would be here today if you weren't with a different angle, because you would feed into all the stuff that's being said online, and you would say, let me talk about something else and shy away from all this, but you're not, because that is authentically you. So good, bad, or indifferent, you are true to yourself. That's my honest opinion.
Well, I thank you for that, David, because that's what it is, right? And listen, lots of people, including Black women, have close friends of mine, so whatever. And we get it. We know this is you. We know this is you all day, every day. But don't you think it might have been worth it to scale it back, ease into it, save some of that for a second or third season? And here's what I say to that. 2 things. Number one, I'm a woman of faith. Tomorrow's not promised, right? That's real, especially in the wake. That's real, especially in the wake of a global, not even the wake, we're still in a global pandemic. So the calculus for me just didn't work on that approach. I'm coming back. There we go.
Hi.
The calculus for me just didn't work on that approach, David, because that would be me betting on for sure coming back as a housewife 2, 3, 4 more seasons. We can ask many one and doneers how that worked out for them. So the reality was, and this was very strategic on my part, if I only literally get, pardon this corny pun, one bite at the apple, I got to take it and run with it, because tomorrow's not promised in life or as a housewife. So I had to give everything that I have by way of my love affair with women, with sisterhood. I mean, beyond just the Blackness of it all. That's why I leaned in so quickly and intensely with Sonja Morgan, because I don't know if I'll have another season of film with Sonja Morgan for a litany of different reasons. But what I know is this: when I see Sonja Morgan, I truly see a woman of high value. I see a woman who has not had enough people in her life over the course of her life pour into her goodness. There's too many people that pour into the spectacle. There's too many people that pour into the objectification. And I just wanted to be different energy for this woman. And if it's one season, it's one season. But hopefully it makes a difference for her. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I know I felt the need to do it. So that's that calculus. The other calculus is this. You know, I tried that slow drip approach of my kind of potency when I was at Fox News. I was at Fox News almost 5 years. And the first few years I was there, David, early years, very young, very green in the news business. There was a little bit of that, just happy to be there. Not that I ever compromised on my intellectual or value system, because I always said what I really felt and thought, particularly from a legal lens, but there was some trepidation, right? Like, I don't want to go too hard or too strong. It's particularly on these other people's shows, because I started just as like a guest of or a contributor. So if I'm on O'Reilly's show, there's only so far I'm going to go on this man's show. If I'm on Hannity, there's only so much I'm going to say on his platform. And what happened by the time I ended my career at Fox is I had been promoted to co-hosting a show and anchoring the news on the weekend. So by then I could be full throttle. You know, I could go in on, you know, different people and hold people to account. And, you know, you can Google Eboni and Trump docket and you could see how far I end up going there. But in retrospect, that took a lot of time. That's 5 years to finally get to a place of saying it how you really mean it. And the one thing I know about housewives that are successful and iconic is they really say it how they mean it from day one. And so that is my personal standard. So whatever other people think of me as a housewife, David, I can respect it, but I really don't give a shit. I think I was an iconic first-year housewife. I said it how I meant it from the very first scene. I stayed true to myself and my God. I think I represented an excellent template for what women can be, because I've heard that from a lot of women and mothers and fathers. Like, it's the kind of thing that they would like their young daughters to look at by way of what's possible and aspirational when you work hard. And I'm proud of all of that. So I wouldn't do a damn thing different.
Right. And then you could have no regrets. I mean, you put it all out there.
Mm-hmm.
Final question, I promise. Well, for all the people, you know, that say you're so serious and all this other stuff, what does Eboni K. Williams do for fun? What does a night out in New York City look like for you?
Oh man. So I had one, I've had two recently. One, I went to it was an LGBTQ plus day party, honey. My incredible, super gorgeous co-host on my podcast, Holding Court, Dustin Ross, picked me up. I put on my club outfit. Auntie E put on her club outfit and my fuchsia lipstick, and we had a time. I don't remember how I got home, truly. All I know is somebody gave me a Popeye's chicken sandwich and some fries that I consumed in the Uber before I got home. Because when I got home, I had the bag to prove that I had the chicken sandwich, but I don't remember any of it. I don't remember eating it. I think it was delicious. And that was my night. And then the next morning I popped up and went to work. So she's still got it, David.
Listen, I mean, it's always like when you wake up and you see like the pizza, the food, the McDonald's.
Yeah, you're like and it's like you see pieces of it like starting to come back to you. And I'm like, Oh yeah, we were drinking Casamigos straight for like 4 hours. Yep, that was it. Yeah. So it was fun. It was great. Like I hadn't really been out, we're still kind of coming back as a city. So it was, obviously everyone's vaccinated. Everybody's, like trying to, respect some protocol here, but it was a great time. It was a great time. And then I had another night out, just a one-on-one with a sorority sister who was in town from Texas. And we just went to the Baccarat and drank champagne and martinis and did some epic people watching. It was really funny. This older guy, which I love older men, so that's not the tea. But I don't know, this man just kept coming up to the table and trying to talk our ear off. And it was such a grown woman moment where in my 20s, my girlfriends and I would entertain that annoying bullshit of this man just kind of running up on your space and wasting your time because he wants to be entertained by beautiful women. And we would do it in exchange for a round of drinks because we were broke. So this guy was like, oh, I got the next round. And Lindsay, that's my friend's name. I was like, you know what, sir? I was like, you seem delightful. Truly you do. Because he was there like with a work conference. It's like, so you're sitting at the Baccarat bar with a lanyard around your neck. Like, get out of here. But anyway, he's like, I got the next round of drinks on me, ladies. And then it's like talking about where you're from. Sir, we're having a girls' night. We are catching up on old times. I'm sure you're lovely and delightful, but we're actually good over here. I want you to enjoy your evening and we'll bid you a good night. And so basically he was dismissed. And she just was like dying laughing because she was just like, I just wish people could see this part of you. I was like, time will tell. It'll reveal itself. But I'm just grateful for the resources now to not have to exchange cocktails for conversation.
I love it. And right, there's no world that you should be sitting at the Baccarat bar with a lanyard around you. That's
honey,
I'm already like, yeah.
Sir, it's you've missed your target audience. Whatever your target audience was, this ain't it. I can assure you.
Not at the Baccarat.
Not at the Baccarat, sir. Lovely gentlemen, but just not for us and not for tonight. And don't think we're some broke raggedy bitches sitting around waiting on you to come around and buy us around. We actually work, which is wonderful.
We can afford our own drinks.
Right?
I love it. I have a vivid picture now in my memory. Is there anything else you want to share with us? Anything else you want to get off your chest? I always like to give people a chance at the end to share whatever they want. Thank you for answering all my questions.
Of course, you had great questions. You always do. I think the main thing I wanted to share, and I think we got deeply into it, is just I want people to think a little, and I think I won't say sadly. I think Garcelle in this recent episode of her, really having a bit of a breakthrough, we'll call it breakthrough. I think I want people to sit with that and sit with the complication. And this is not an indictment of her castmates. It's just to say, you cannot just helicopter in a woman of color, particularly a woman of distinction and color, into an all-white social circle, because that's the other thing. Housewives shows are built on a lot of different elements, but I think the most fundamental one, David, is social currency. Social currency. So that's wealth, physical, tangible wealth. That's social status through marriage. That's beauty, aesthetics. That's professional status, what you do for a living, your celebrity, your career status. That could be education for some of us. I think that's why, Dr. Wendy had so much, noise around her debut season as, a PhD in Potomac. So just consider that when you take all those traditional buckets of social currency that make housewives interesting, the racial cultural one is a special one because it's one that complicates all those other buckets. And just consider that when people offer these searing critiques of what they expect a housewives show to look like, know that it will always have, whether it's being said or not said, because I feel like season 1 with Garcelle, there wasn't a lot said about it. But what you're seeing finally her talking about this season is it's been there the whole time.
Right.
And I don't know what the hell is going on in Salt Lake City with Mary Cosby and what the hell, I don't know what them tweets are about, but
I just saw that this morning. By the way,
hand to God, David. My name's Bennett, and I ain't in that one. So
I love that you actually really truly know every single thing that's going on. Like you might be coming from my job after you're done with it. You know, like you really know what's going on every single show. It's unbelievable.
I'm a fan. I really am. And I made no apologies about that even during my casting, you know, and I think, you know, for any, you know, future housewife joining any franchise, like it's totally okay to be a fan of this iconic cultural juggernaut. And you know, to me, it enriches my experience as an actual housewife to be able to sit with the experiences as a viewer, and then also have some behind the scenes relationships with these women. So I think it's all very dope. My net takeaway is this has been amazing. I'd love to do it again. It's been life-changing and affirming for me in many ways. And I just love representing a different kind of housewife. I'm not saying there's not a place for the kooky, silly, you know, always having the, you know, drinks and like, totally. Hold on one second. I think that purely fun, quirky, kooky housewife is amazing. I just think we're in 2021 and we can have a multitude of different kinds of housewives at this point.
I agree. Well, any day you want to have a drink at the Baccarat and talk about housewives, we could, I mean.
Yes.
And
we will promptly dismiss any gentleman with lanyards.
Please shoot them away. Where can everyone follow you online who wants to follow you?
Yeah, it's Eboni K Williams, Eboni K Williams, all over Twitter. It's actually, I don't really tweet that much. Instagram. You want to catch me on social, catch me on Instagram.
I really appreciate your time. Like, thank you for taking your time, and sorry to keep you. And
no, it's fun. I always like talking to you, David. You're a gem.
I always love talking to you too.